They have quantity in starters, quantity in relievers, but now we have to see the quality play out, and I don't know what that's going to look like just yet.
In terms of Nolan Arenado, I know that he just showed up at Cardinal camp yesterday, and they showed a hug between him and Oliver Marmol. But the GM did say, Mozeliak, look, it's going to be awkward if he's here because they definitely have tried to move him many times. Is there any chance the Cubs could get him?
I got a nod of a head. No, not yes. A nod, no, when I asked somebody with the Cubs. It wasn't like Jed or Carter, but I got a nod of the head, no. So I don't think so. But as you know how spring goes, like last year, it didn't seem like Dylan Cease was going to get moved, and on the eve of the season, he was moved. If it becomes untenable in St. Louis by the end of spring, like why is he here? What's he doing here? This is awkward. And all of a sudden, the Cubs are the only suitor. You never know. You never know. But I got a nod of the head, no. Shake of the head. Shake of the head, no. On the thought of Arenado. But let's see how the spring plays out. I'd be very surprised if St. Louis did that.
Tell us about some of the thoughts from the manager of the Chicago Cubs, Craig Counsell, on how he sees this lineup.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. There's really only one default leadoff guy on the team. I mean, take a guess who it could be. It's not going to be PCA. So the only one left, it's got to be Hap. Like, there's no mystery there. It's got to be Hap. He's had some turns at the leadoff spot. The question is, where does Kyle Tucker hit? Is it second or third? You guys know that, this day and age, the best hitters usually bat second. So that's something he's debating. I think he's going to end up batting second. He even mentioned first the possibility, probably not right off the bat, but he did use Christian Yelich, the best player in Milwaukee for a long time, at the leadoff spot. So it's not impossible that Tucker would, but I'd have my doubts. So I think it's going to go Hap Tucker. It could go Hap Suzuki Tucker, though. I think those are the possibilities for the top three there, and then we'll see what's after that. But I think Hap is your leadoff hitter, and again, he's had varying amounts of success. Some years good, some years bad. But Hap's kind of turned into pretty much what we know, right? Solid player, quasi all-star, definitely Gold Glover. He's had a couple now. Nothing more than that, but he's established himself that he's not going to be worse than that, where a few years ago it was real volatile. So I don't mind him as a leadoff guy, especially if it's not going to be PCA.
So, Cap, if I lay this out to you, tell me if you give me thumbs up or will you make some changes, okay? Mm-hmm. Hap, Tucker, Seiya.
I'd go Hap, Seiya, Tucker, but yeah, those three guys, yes.
Bush, cleanup, Swanson, Nico.
That's six. Who am I missing then?
PCA, Matt Shaw, Maya.
Yeah.
Would you do that?
That's
yeah,
pretty
I
close.
don't know. I don't think I'd hit Amaya ninth. I probably would hit PCA 9, so he's like a second leadoff guy for me.
Yeah, that's pretty close, though, Jay Hood. Within one or two spots for all those guys down at the bottom.
So, but are you good with Bush as a cleanup at 4?
Yeah, I don't have a choice.
You don't. That's the problem. It's like your big bopper in the number 4 spot is Michael Bush, then Swanson, Nico. Got a couple of fleas there in the 5-6 hole.
Matt Shaw could earn his way higher in the lineup. He's a really good hitter.
Jesse, I agree with Pete Crow down the order because he could turn the lineup over for you, and if he gets on base, that's almost like a double because he's so fast.
I agree. I was asking Counsell about Pete Crow at the top. He's not ready for it. On base of 286 last year, but in the second half it was 310. I mentioned it to Boog yesterday, and he quickly shut me down. I'm like, no, not right off the bat. But if PCA can get his game to a point where he's getting on base at 33, 34%, you think about it. I mean, that guy can steal your run in the ninth inning with that extra at bat. Tie game, he gets his 5th at bat. He's on first, he's on third. That skill set plays, but he's nowhere near ready for it. So I think you're right. Nine works. But 1 through 4 will be interesting. Counsell downplayed it as most managers do. Put your best hitters at the top, your worst hitters at the bottom. But I think 1 and 2 are important because those are the guys over the course of the season that get that extra at bat in the ninth. So I think you want Tucker too. And Hap Hap can run into a few home runs. So Hap, Tucker getting the extra at bats, I don't have a big problem with it. Now, if Seiya goes off and has this great year, maybe you move him up and Hap down or something. But right now, I like Tucker, too, because he gets you that extra at-bat late in the game.
In terms of going out and getting more pitching, because I'm a pitching guy. I believe you go get more pitching. We kept hearing Seattle wants to move Castillo, and this one wants to move Dylan Cease, and this one wants to move that one. Any chance they add another pitcher?
I think there's a chance. It won't be San Diego. That is dead now. San Diego, after signing Pivetta, you'd think, well, maybe they have to move someone, but they actually went the opposite way. They have some ownership issues, and I guess, from what I understand, A.J. Preller was able to talk ownership into believing, look, we have a chance here. Let's not get rid of anybody. Let's add somebody. And they actually did that with Pivetta. So I don't think it'll be San Diego. I think there's always a chance with Seattle. They didn't really improve offensively, and they have all this pitching. And the other thing is San Diego didn't love the Cubs prospects after Matt Shaw. That's what I was told from Padres people. So the match wasn't there anyway. But the match could be in Seattle if they do like an Owen Casey maybe better than San Diego did. I wouldn't rule it out, Cap. I would not rule it out. I don't think the Cubs are taking the Bregman money and spending it. I don't think that's the case. Jed made that very clear. But there's a few shekels left, whether it be now or in July. So I'm not going to rule it completely out. They don't have a true number one starter. I don't know if they could find one now, but they could, bulk up the middle of that rotation if they wanted. It's a lot of intriguing and unknown arms in the bullpen. I was watching a few of them, Jay Hood on the backfields yesterday.
Yes.
And so we'll see. They have quantity. Now let's see what the quality is. Like they have quantity in starters, quantity in relievers, but now we have to see the quality play out, and I don't know what that's going to look like just yet.
We're going to go into your diamond notes, and I'm going to ask you.
Any Sox news?
That's next with Jesse Rogers right here on Kap and J Hood. ESPN 1000.
Just one more on the Cubs, then we'll move to the Any Sox news. The Justin Turner pursuit. I know he's still out there. His wife was on social mentioning the Cubs. Is that like a fait accompli? He's coming?
I mean, I'm surprised he's not in yet, especially when you have Shaw with that oblique. Now, that's minor, but still, there's what was I saying before? They don't have a backup first baseman. They don't have a backup third baseman. I'm guessing they're haggling over a few shekels here, right? I mean, guys are signing for $1 million. Paul DeYoung, 31 years old.
Yeah, Nationals.
24 home runs last year. You get $1 million. And I know I talked to his agent. They started at $3 million, had to keep on coming down. Jason Hayward, $1 million. Your guy, Anthony Rizzo, unsigned.
They're not bringing him here.
If he played third base, there'd be a possibility. But they need someone to play first.
Yeah, they're
not
bringing him in here as a backup to Michael Butt. No shot.
I wish they brought him in at third, so you'd be a left-handed third baseman. That'd be awesome.
That's what I'm saying. If he played third, there'd be a chance. But anyway. I'm surprised Turner's not in yet, so it does feel like it might be fait accompli. We'll see. But I haven't been able to ask why not someone, him or Mark Canha is another guy that's out there. That's what I was saying before about the backups. There's just
Mark Canha, the outfielder?
Not a lot of meat on the bone.
Like, what are you doing with Mark Canha?
I guess he plays some first. I think he plays some first, from what I was told. But Turner's your best option because he plays first and third. So I'd be surprised at this point if it doesn't happen.
Any Sox news?
Well, position players report today. I'm going to head over there. Luis Robert will be on everybody's, interview list here because we want to know what's your mindset going into this year where you're probably going to get traded just like a lot of your teammates did. I will say this about the Sox. The dysfunction is in the past. They moved out everybody that was kind of part of that dysfunction for the most part. I don't know if you'd include Luis Robert in that dysfunction. He was just hurt all the time. He wasn't part of the cancerous, locker room stuff. So they've pretty much moved out all that from coaches and players. It's now, to me, the feel is just like any other bad young team. It's your normal bad rebuilding team at the beginning of a rebuild. There's good pitching there. Hagen Smith, Noah Schultz were on the mound over the weekend. Position players again there today. It at least is what you would call a normal bad team, where in the past it was a bad dysfunctional team. So that's a start, but that's the most I got for you. We'll see what Luis says today.
Let me just tell you. So I know it would be popular for me to just take a crap on the White Sox because they were bad last year, but the only place they can go is up at this point. So when it comes down to, for me, Jesse, is individual players. Like, I like Corey Lee as a solid catcher for this White Sox team. I like Colson Montgomery exactly. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do at shortstop. The pitching staff is not horrible. I want to see more from Cannon, Davis, Martin. So what I'm saying is that I know that's going to be bad, and I know it's going to be painful, but it won't be as bad as last year, and I look forward to seeing more of those kids being able to come up. I look forward to your reports on some of the young people that are going to be on this roster.
No doubt. I think you put it right. It's still going to be bad. It won't be as painful, right?
Yeah.
Those are two different things. It'll be your normal bad young team, but it won't be painful to watch, which under Pedro Grifol, the White Sox were painful to watch. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think my job is really to report on those young players. A lot of them will start in the minors, some of them in the majors, and we'll go from there. But certainly in spring, they're all there, so I'll get to see them all in the next few days here for sure. Games start this weekend. The Cubs and Dodgers are first up on Thursday. The rest of the league starts on Saturday, and we'll be off and running.
Having said that, I am so disappointed in Andrew Vaughn for a draft pick of their own for the White Sox, for him to be underwhelming at first base with so many at-bats, Jesse. I wonder, does this turn around for him? Knowing that, again, no one's behind him, he's the first baseman all the way. Did we see the best of Andrew Vaughn, in your opinion?
I think it's a great question. I say this. Look, he has no protection, like you said. Benintendi's been a bust for the most part. But the great ones overcome, right? The great ones don't need lineup protection. The great ones take their walks then if they're not getting pitches to hit and their on-base shoots up to 400 or something. Vaughn has shown none of that, and none of that. His power's not been great. He really had a bad start last year. What's it going to look like this year with really no hope around him in that lineup other than Luis, and Luis could get moved. So I'm with you. Like, prove yourself, Vaughn. You're inching towards free agency. If you want to get a good contract, a lot of your teammates didn't get one. Gavin Sheets was barely picked up, right? So I'm with you, man. It's been disappointing, and you might be the only big bat in that lineup to end the year, but it's your job to produce.
Jesse, have a wonderful rest of your day. Get something done for the Cubbies. We need a little bit of a reinforcement.
They're already starting to blame me, Hood. We're just in week 2.
I know.
They're already starting to put it on me.
It's unbelievable.
If you'd have listened to me last year, you would have been or 2 years ago with the bullpen, we'd have had playoff appearances.
How about this one? This isn't a surprise, but did you read the Athletic? Theo had a big part in helping Breslow.
Oh, I've been reading the article. I want to puke.
I mean, if the Cubs missed the playoffs by a game or two, Theo could have sealed Jed's fate, with his recruitment of Alex Bregman. So kind of interesting it all comes on. I mentioned, the Tigers, the Red Sox, and the Cubs all were after Bregman. They all worked together with the Cubs. Scott Harris, all those guys are with the Cubs. And, of course, Theo wins again.
What does a Joey Gallo bring to the table? I look forward to that. Joey Gallo. I mean, look, Jesse, this is where I am right now at the White Sox. I'm not mad. I'm not angry. I know where they've been. And I just think, again, you're just fostering along a team that's going to be more than 41 wins. I just know that there's going to be some good spots. And the whole thing is, I want to see if Hagen Smith's part of this team on the roster at some point this season, just so we see how the young kids develop. That's all. That's all I want to see.
My report on Joey Gallo coming up at 10:01 on ESPN.
Jesse, that's a bad take. Have a great day, buddy.
See you, boys. Love you guys. See
you.
Joey Gallo, what does he bring to the table? We're talking to Jesse Rogers here. And don't forget, our 8 o'clock hour of the Kap and J Hood morning show is brought to you by the Village of Bolingbrook,
home of the awesome Bolingbrook Golf Club.